Detective Mike Karanja sat in his cramped office, his gaze drifting over the chaotic stack of files that cluttered his desk. Each folder represented shattered lives, victim of a notorious human trafficking ring led by the elusive figure known only as the Phantom. Nairobi was vibrant and bustling outside, but Michael felt engulfed by shadows as he dug deeper into the case. The Phantom was a master of evasion, always managing to stay one step ahead of the authorities. Michael had been on this case for months, driven by an unwavering determination to bring justice to the victims. The latest intel suggested a significant transaction was set to occur at a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. This lead felt different, promising. He meticulously planned the raid, ensuring every detail was accounted for. Team, this is it, he said, addressing his unit. We have a chance to dismantle this network tonight. The tension in the room was palpable. Every officer fueled by a shared resolve. They had come close before, but this time, Michael felt the weight of impending success heavy on his shoulders. As he left the precinct, his thoughts were consumed by the case. The faces of the victims haunted him, their stories of betrayal and suffering igniting a fire within him. This wasn't just about capturing a criminal. It was about restoring hope to those who had lost everything. Returning home, Michael was greeted by the familiar warmth of his wife, Grace. She was in the kitchen, the scent of a home-cooked meal wafting through the air. It was a comforting oasis amidst the chaos of his work life. Grace had always been his anchor, his unwavering support, a balm to his weary soul. "How was your day?" she asked, her eyes reflecting a genuine concern. Michael recounted the latest developments, detailing the raid planned for the night. "We are closing in on the Phantom," he said, a mix of hope and caution in his voice. Grace listened intently, her expression one of encouragement. "You will catch him, Michael. I believe in you," she replied, her voice soothing. He leaned on her support, finding solace in her words. Little did he know, Grace's interest in his work was far from innocent. Every detail he shared was a piece of information she would use to ensure the Phantom stayed ahead. Underneath her affectionate facade, Grace was a skilled manipulator. She played the role of the dutiful wife flawlessly, masking her true intentions. Every question she asked seemed like genuine curiosity, but in reality, she was gathering crucial information to manipulate the situation, keeping Michael from uncovering the truth. Michael's pursuit of the Phantom led to countless near misses. Every encounter ended in frustration, with the criminal slipping away just as victory seemed within reach. It was a pattern. Raids meticulously planned would unravel at the last moment, leaving Michael questioning his abilities. His best friend and colleague, Daniel, was always by his side during these operations. They shared a bond forged through years on the force. But lately, Daniel's behavior raised suspicions. His cryptic remarks and unexplained absences planted seeds of doubt in Michael's mind. Could his trusted friend be involved in the very network they were trying to dismantle? One evening, after yet another failed operation, Michael confronted Daniel. "Is there something you're not telling me?" he demanded, his eyes searching his friend's face for a hint of betrayal. Daniel's reaction was defensive, and the tension between them grew. "I'm on your side, Michael. Don't let this case get to you," Daniel replied. But the seed of doubt had been planted, casting a shadow over their friendship. As Michael wrestled with suspicions about Danny, he remained blinded to the manipulation happening under his own roof. Grace continued to play her role expertly, subtly steering him away from the dangerous truth while maintaining her facade of a supportive partner. After another failed operation, Michael found himself sitting across from his superiors at the precinct. The tension was palpable and the disappointment in the room was suffocating. "Detective Karanja, your performance on this case has been lacking," the chief said, his tone stern but tinged with frustration. Michael's heart sank as he listened to the critic. Despite his tireless efforts, the phantom remained elusive and now his career was on the line. "You've had numerous chances and each time the suspect slips away," the chief continued. "We are placing you on suspension until further notice." The words hit like a punch to the gut. Michael had devoted countless hours to this case and now he was being sidelined. As he left the precinct, a wave of anger and despair washed over him. He felt as though he had failed not just himself, but the victim who relied on him for justice. At home, Grace was waiting for him. She noticed the defeat etched on his face and wrapped her arms around him. "We'll get through this," she said softly, her voice soothing. Michael leaned into her embrace, grateful for her support. Little did he know, her satisfaction stemmed from her successful manipulation, ensuring he remained in the dark. In the following days, Michael found himself adrift. The suspension left a void in his life and he was determined to clear his name. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the case than meets the eye. Every failure, every near miss replayed in his mind, fueling his determination to uncover the truth. Determined to redeem himself, Michael continued his investigation independently. He pored over the case files, scrutinizing every detail he might have overlooked. The walls of his home office were covered in notes and photographs, a chaotic web of connection that he hoped would lead him to the phantom. His suspicion about Daniel lingered and he began to watch his friend closely. Michael noticed inconsistencies in Daniel's behavior. Unexplained absences, phone calls that ended abruptly when he entered the room. The doubt gnawed at him, but confronting Daniel outright seemed too risky. He needed more evidence to confirm his suspicions. Meanwhile, Grace maintained her facade of a supportive wife, subtly directing his focus away from her own involvement. Her questions seemed innocent, but they were calculated, designed to keep him from connecting the dots. Michael, blinded by trust and love, remained oblivious to the truth that was unraveling before him. But as he dug deeper, Michael stumbled upon new clues that pointed in a shocking direction. Receipts, hidden transactions, and unexplained connections began to form a picture that shattered his reality. The possibility that Grace was involved shook him to the core. Could the woman he loved be the mastermind behind the phantom network? The realization hit him like a tidal wave, crashing over everything he believed to be true. His world turned upside down, and the line between ally and enemy blurred. Michael knew he had to tread carefully, the stakes higher than ever before. Michael's mind raced as he pieced together the clues pointing to Grace, the woman he loved, who had been his rock through countless challenges, was now at the center of a web of deceit. The weight of betrayal crushed him, and he struggled to reconcile the image of the supportive wife with that of a criminal mastermind. Determined to uncover the truth, Michael discreetly gathered more informations and evidence against Grace. He searched through Grace's belongings when she was out, finding hidden phones and mysterious financial records. Each discovery felt like a dagger to the heart, confirming his worst fears. One evening, Michael confronted Grace. "I need to talk to you," he said, his voice laced with tension. Grace met his gaze, her eyes calm and unreadable. "What's wrong, Michael?" she asked, her tone deceptively innocent. He laid out the evidence, watching her expression shift from feigned concern to cold calculation. "You were so close," she said, her voice devoid of the warmth he has ever known. "But you could never see what was right in front of you." The room seemed to close in around Michael as he processed her admission. The woman he had shared his life with was not only complicit, but the very phantom he had been haunting. After the confrontation, Grace disappeared, leaving Michael reeling. The betrayer cut deep, but he knew he had to act quickly. He informed his superiors, presenting the evidence that linked Grace to the Phantom network. They were stunned but agreed to reinstate him to lead the manhunt. Determined to bring Grace to justice, Michael threw himself into the case with renewed vigor. He tracked her movements, following leads that took him through the underbelly of Nairobi. Every encounter with her associates brought him closer, but Grace remained elusive, always a step ahead. The chase became personal. Michael's emotions were a whirlwind of anger, heartbreak, and determination. Every near miss fueled his resolve, the desire for closure driving him forward. He had to confront the woman who had deceived him so completely and dismantle the criminal empire she had built. The day of reckoning arrived when Michael received a tip about a major human trafficking operation in a secluded part of the city. He knew it was a trap, but he couldn't ignore the chance to finally confront Grace. As he approached the location, his heart pounded with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The scene was chaotic as law enforcement closed in. Michael spotted Grace in the distance, her figure obscured by the shadow. The chase was on, weaving through narrow alleys and bustling markets. Adrenaline coursed through him as he closed the distance, determined to end the nightmare. Cornered in a dimly lit warehouse, Grace turned to face him, a defiant glint in her eyes. "You can't do this, Michael," she taunted, her voice steady despite the situation. "You won't shoot me." Michael raised his weapon, his hand trembling with the weight of his decision. In a split second, a shot rang out, the echo lingering in the air. As Grace fell, Michael's heart shattered. The woman he had loved, trusted, and shared his life with lay before him, the truth finally revealed. The cost of justice was heavier than he had ever imagined. In the aftermath, Michael grappled with a maelstrom of emotions. The betrayal, the loss, and the realization of Grace's true nature haunted him. Though his colleagues tried to encourage him, Michael knew he could no longer remain in the force. The remnant of the Phantom network was dismantled, bringing a sense of closure to the victim and their family. Michael, however, resigned from the force and started a new life, leaving his past behind him.